Hello, everybody, and welcome to Walking Between Shadows. I'm Taryn Elliott, and along with me is my amazing husband.
I'm Ben Elliott.
And we're here to talk about true crime all the time.
Hey everybody, I'm Taryn Elliott, and this is Walking Between Shadows. And usually it's me and Ben, but today it's just me. Ben's taking a break, and I am going to do this by myself since it's been about 3 weeks since I've been around. And I missed y'all. Real quick, I want to thank everybody who has liked and subscribed and followed us, and we're getting there, so thank y'all. So today we're going to talk about Noura Jackson. Noura Jackson grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and she was the daughter of single mother, Jennifer Jackson. And Jennifer was a very successful bonds trader and triathlete in Memphis. And from what I have heard about Jennifer and Nora's relationship, Jennifer was more like a friend to Nora than a parent. Nora got whatever she wanted. She was very spoiled, and she did whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, and called the shots. By the time she was 16 years old, everybody knew Nora as the party girl. And by the time she was 18 years old, she had attended 5 different high schools and still hadn't graduated. So Jennifer decided to pull Nora out of public school and homeschool her. And everything's going really good for Nora, it sounds like, but maybe not Jennifer. And everything would change for Nora on June the 4th of 2005. Everything was going really good that day for Nora. At first, she went and got her nails done and got these beautiful French manicured nails, and spent the evening at an Italian festival eating Italian food and listening to good music. She went to 2 parties at 2 different friends' homes and was drinking and smoking some weed and having a good night. At 12:46 a.m. on June the 5th, Nora goes to the gas station to buy some cigarettes. And when she pulls up to the gas station, before she goes in, she calls her mom, has a quick conversation with her mom. And around 3:30 a.m., Nora goes to another friend's house. At 4 a.m., Nora is seen at a Walgreens buying bandages for a bad cut that was bleeding really bad, even in Walgreens. So she's in Walgreens at 4 a.m. At 4:20 a.m., Nora stops to get gas on her way home. Nora arrives home at around 5 a.m., and when she gets there, she notices the glass on the front door is broken, but didn't really freak out about that because this has happened before. Jennifer had locked herself out before and broken the glass to get in. So Nora gets in the house, and as soon as she gets in, she realizes there's glass on the floor, but she looks over and sees her mom's bedroom door open, which was unusual. So she goes over and peeks in to check on her mom and sees her mom naked, covered in blood on the floor of her bedroom, stabbed 50 times. So Nora's freaked out, of course, or smoking and drinking a little bit, and then come home and find that. So she's freaked out, and she runs to the neighbor's house to get help and gets the neighbor, and he runs back to the house with her and finds it suspicious that Nora runs inside the house before he does. I mean, what if there's somebody in there? So he thought that was suspicious, but then again, Nora had been there and seen her mother, knew where her mother was located, and was trying to get her some help. So The 911 phone call is then made.
Oh, 911.
Please, I need an ambulance. I need an ambulance right now.
Ambulance on the line. Don't hang up. Fire department. What's the address of the emergency?
5001 New Haven Avenue.
What's the problem? Tell me exactly what
Someone broke in my house. My mom, because my mom is bleeding.
is she breathing?
No, she's not breathing. She's not breathing. She's not breathing. Please help me.
Ma'am, was anyone shot?
No, there's blood everywhere. Please, I need a police officer.
Okay, ma'am, how old is your mother?
She's 39 years old. Oh my God. Oh my God, please help me. Please send somebody.
Okay, listen to me, ma'am. I need you to calm down, okay, so we can help your mother. Okay?
Not breathing.
Okay, listen to me. Did you see what happened?
No, I just got home.
Did someone broke into your home?
Yes, I went to go get my kitten out of the kitchen and there's glass everywhere. Please send an ambulance, please.
Okay, listen. We have help on the way. We're going to help your mother.
Somebody help me right now.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down so we can help her, okay?
By the time the paramedics showed up at the house, Jennifer was deceased. And what is so sad is this is not the first time that something like this has happened to Nora. In 2004, Nora's father was murdered in his gas station. Somebody came in, it was all on video, and stole all of his money and shot him in the head. And this was they never did solve this murder. So, I mean, this was not the first time Nora had lost a parent. But getting back to Nora, police thought that her behavior was very weird that night. First of all, the 911 operator asked her if anybody had been shot, and Nora immediately says no, and then there was 50 stab wounds to Jennifer Jackson. This was a very passionate crime. That's someone that's usually close to Jennifer, to the victim, to go about it this personally and this brutally. So that was two things that were catching the investigators' eyes about Nora. So they continue interrogating Nora, and on September 29th of 2005, she is arrested for the murder of her mother. Another very suspicious act from Nora was the Walgreens video where she had cut her hand. Nora had decided initially not to tell the police about this cut on her hand because she knew they were looking at her and knew that was going to make her look very guilty. So the cops were making a huge deal out of this cut because it was hidden. And on February 9th of 2009, Valerie Corder decided to defend Nora pro bono. Nora was an orphan. Her dad was dead. Her mother was dead. Her mother's entire side of the family had turned their back on her. Her dad never really had anything to do with her in the first place, but then his family probably never did. So Nora was on her own, and Valerie Corder decided to do this pro bono to help her. The prosecution was going for a life sentence for Nora and had a bunch of her friends testify against her and be on the witness stand, and they were all testifying that Nora was ungrateful of her mother and a party girl and on cocaine and weed and alcohol and pills and Xanax bars and you name it, they said she was on it. But at the time of Jennifer's death, Nora was only on alcohol and weed. Nora's ex-best friend testified against her and said that Nora hated Jennifer and often spoke of how much she hated her mother. Another person testified. This was a Friends with Benefits. I believe his name was Andrew. He testified that Nora texted him the night of the murder and said that she was out of the house and that they should hang out. So during the trial, Jennifer and Nora's relationship was deeply looked into. Jennifer was in the process of pulling the reins back on Nora and making her mind and stop the drinking and partying and learn how to become a productive citizen. But Jennifer had tried for years to get Nora to act right and start making choices that were going to help her in her future. And this became the main motive for Nora to kill her mom. It was being said that Jennifer was talking about putting Nora in a boarding school where she couldn't have sex and she couldn't do drugs. So I mean, that was a big motive for the prosecution to come after Nora. And they also claimed that money could have been the motive, and it very well could have been. Nora's father had been murdered and left every bit of his money and estate to Nora, but it was in the care of Jennifer. And Jennifer was getting ready to not give that to Nora right away because she wasn't acting right. So was it that? Another thing is that Nora's entire family on her mom's side totally went against her and even testified against her in court. And her uncle, Aaron Sherwood, stated when he would ask Nora about the murder and maybe what happened to your mom, do you have any ideas of what happened to your mother? Nora would totally evade the question and not want to answer that. Nora's two aunts also testified against her in court, and they said the reason they believe that she's guilty is because she never was able to tell them where she was the night that Jennifer was killed. So let's talk about the most damning evidence, which was that cut on Nora's hand. Nora had told, or many people stated that Nora told them a different story. She cut it on barbed wire. She cut it on a piece of glass, chasing her cat through the kitchen, or her kitten through the kitchen. She cut it at the Italian festival. So there was cut it in the garage, chasing her cat. So there were several different things that people claimed that Nora said happened to her hand. But Nora stated that she cut it at the Italian festival, and she told everyone that she never made up these other stories. But it looked really bad. People said that Nora kept wearing these sweatshirts over her hands, and she would pull it down over her hands. Some people said that it was because she was trying to cover up the cut on her hand. Nora says that she did it because she was self-conscious about her hairy arms, which a young girl that age is self-conscious about everything, so that makes sense. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things that make her look extremely guilty and make Nora look like she did something really wrong. But there was not one single bit of Nora's DNA on Jennifer or at the crime scene, even after she cut her hand. And there was not one single shred of DNA on Nora from her mother. But there was evidence of DNA from two other unknown women. Don't know who those women were, but they were not Nora. There was also Jennifer was found with a clump of blonde hair in her hand. Nora had brown hair, so it was not her hair. But forensics decided not to ever test that clump of hair, so to this day, really nobody knows who that hair belongs to. On March 27, 2009, jurors found Nora guilty of murdering her mother and sentenced her to 20 years plus 9 months in prison. When she went to prison, her attorneys did not stop fighting for her, immediately put in appeals and kept the fight up for her. And she didn't have anybody else but them. And on August the 22nd of 2014, the Tennessee Supreme Court threw out Nora's conviction, stating that the prosecution violated her rights. During the trial, the prosecution asked Nora where she was when Jennifer was being killed. And this question violated Nora's right to not testify. Nora signed an Alford plea because neither side wanted a retrial. An Alford plea is admitting that the prosecution has enough evidence to prove guilt, but maintaining your innocence. And I do not blame her, because she would have had to, if there would have been another trial, she would have had to fight this. And that could have been another, how many years? She did nearly a decade in prison, and if she was innocent, then that's a decade too long. On August the 17th of 2017, Noura Jackson was released from prison.
Tonight, Noura Jackson, originally convicted in the murder of her mother, is officially a free woman today. Local 24 was the only local media there this morning as the 29-year-old was released from the Mark Luttrell Correctional Center. Local 24's Brad Broders was there and takes you through the many twists and turns of the Noura Jackson case from 2005 until today.
Noura Jackson's release here today ended a more than decade-long legal saga, which included a second-degree murder conviction, a later overturning of that conviction, and a plea deal which set today's release of the 29-year-old into motion. At 8:30 this morning in her blue prison uniform, Noura Jackson made the 75-second walk to freedom. Moments later, she changed into a new outfit. Once Jackson was officially outside the prison gates, she was greeted by her friend with a long, emotional embrace after more than a decade behind bars. Moments later, she rode off, beginning a new chapter. Jackson was 18 when her mother, Jennifer Jackson, was found murdered, stabbed at least 50 times in the bedroom of her East Memphis home. In 2009, a jury convicted Jackson of second-degree murder. But in a twist, in August 2014, the Tennessee Supreme Court overturned her conviction and ordered a new trial, an important victory at the time for Jackson's legal team.
That's what it is. She's back to being presumed innocent.
The case was entirely circumstantial. There was no physical evidence.
The state Supreme Court ruled a retrial, claiming the lead prosecutor, now District Attorney Amy Wyrick, withheld a witness statement from the defense and made this comment during closing arguments.
Just tell us where you were. That's all we're asking, Nora.
But a new trial never happened. In May 2015, Jackson's attorneys accepted a plea deal of voluntary manslaughter from prosecutors, avoiding a potentially lengthy new trial.
She could have fought for another 10 years on principle. I don't know anybody who would give up their 30s for principle.
In the deal, Jackson did not admit guilt in the death of her mother, but accepted the lesser offense.
We wanted to obtain justice for Jennifer Jackson.
Mike Dunavant, a special prosecutor assigned to the case, said last year his office was happy with what the plea deal represented.
We wanted to make sure that there was an adjudication of guilt for a homicide, and that's exactly what happened here today.
Noura Jackson's attorney said their client has always maintained her innocence in the death of her mother. Jackson's release today is based on credit for time already served.
Nora got her GED in prison and was ready to go to college as soon as she was released. She ended up settling with her aunts and getting $1.5 million. And I believe she moved to New York City. Nora started, I know she was doing some podcasts, and she was pretty big on social media. I think she still has a Facebook on social media. And In June of 2022, Nora was arrested in New York for some drug charges. So that's what's going on with Noura Jackson today. She is out on the murder charges, but I don't know what happened with the drug charges as of today. So what do y'all think? Do you think she's innocent, or do you think that she got away with, well, didn't quite get away with murder, but served a very short amount of time for murdering someone and stabbing them 50 times? I'm on the fence about it. I'm not sure what to believe, and I'm kind of leaning more towards innocent just because the DNA. I mean, I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all again next time. Bye.
This has been Walking Between Shadows. Again, I'm your host, Ben Elliott, and my wife, Taryn Elliott. Look for our next episodes coming soon, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.